Welcome in, everyone, to this week's edition of Bearcats All Access. It is officially basketball season here on campus. So for the first time this season on our show, I will sit down with men's head basketball coach Wes Miller to talk about how the team plans to handle the ultra-high expectations from the outside world on this season. I'll also sit down with Cincinnati area native CJ Frederick heading into his 7th season of college basketball. He's 25 years old and known by some of his teammates as Uncle Freddie, how his experience can be passed on to the younger players on this year's team. That and much more on our show this morning. This is Bearcats All Access, and it starts right now.
Bearcats All Access, sponsored by All Good Home Improvements.
Wes, I know sometimes coaches hate the idea of learning from a loss because you can learn from a win too, but in hearing you talk about that game at Villanova in your press conference following the game, it seems like you feel your guys can take a lot away from that game and that experience up there. What do you want the guys to pull from that?
I think the thing that was the most disappointing part for us is our failure to do the things that we practice every day, the things that we've been practicing since the summertime. You know, that's the stuff that you want to hang your hat on. There's a number of them. We couldn't hang our hat on the things that we value. You know, that's got to be something we look in the mirror. But there's a number of things from that game, and again, that's why you lose that way, because it's not you make one mistake, you make a handful of mistakes. So it's a disappointing game, but we're in the process of trying to learn from that now and move forward.
You have high expectations every year, but this season specifically, ultra high expectations from the outside. How do you address that? How do you talk about that within these walls?
We talk about the fact that what's going on outside of this locker room is irrelevant. You know, we have terms for that. I won't share them publicly, but you know, whether it's expectations and pressures, whether it's you know, positive affirmation or negative feedback and criticism, none of it matters. It's all coming. When we win games, we're going to get the type of positive affirmations that are honestly unhealthy, you know, that make you think you can relax or you've arrived. When we lose games, we're going to get the kind of negative criticism that's ridiculous. All of it is a waste of our time and energy to pay attention to.
A couple of recent signings, one of them, Sean Abayev, one of the highest rated recruits in program history. I can only imagine that's exciting for you as a coach.
I'm real excited about the direction that our program's going. I'm real excited about the direction that our recruiting is going. And, you know, you mentioned just this current recruiting class, Sean Abayev, Keyshawn Tillery, and the future is extremely bright. And that's not just because of this class, it's because of the people that are already in this locker room doing the things that they're doing day to day, because they said yes to this, whether it was in the last recruiting cycle or the recruiting cycle before that or the recruiting cycle before that. You know, it's just continuing to build on itself, and that is one of the things that I'm proud of.
Obviously, priority number one for you guys right now is the upcoming game against Howard, a team that played you tight last year. What do you see about that team that impresses you?
Well, they're picked to win their conference, and I always feel like any team that's picked to win their conference, it's not just that they have good coaching, it's not just that they have ability, okay? It's that there's something within their group that they understand how to win. And they played in the NCAA tournament a year ago. They're picked to do it again this year. So they know how to win. They believe they can play with anybody. And obviously they have they've done a great job coaching that team. And they are a talented group. So, you know, like everybody in our schedule, we have a tremendous amount of respect. We'll have to be ready and prepared. And we probably weren't as ready and prepared as we'd like to be last year. And we were lucky to get out of there alive. So hopefully we'll do a better job preparing this year.
Well, still to come on Bearcats All Access, one of the top three-point shooters and scorers in the country so far is right here in Clifton. A word with Simas Lukosius coming up.
Keys to Success, sponsored by Columbia Hyundai and Genesis of Montgomery.
Well, he is among the best three-point shooters and scorers in the country. If you're a Bearcats fan, you're already familiar with Simas Lukosius. Simas sits down with Terry Nelson to talk about his career and his excitement for this 2024 season.
Mr. Clutch, the pride of Kaunas, Lithuania. Now, You're the son of a coach. Let me look down at my notes. Your father, Mendigas, he coached in Kuwait, Lithuania, Russia, Lebanon, Germany, and Bahrain. How did you take him away from all that coaching to train his son?
I was always, traveling with him and living with him and, going to every practice that I could. And, we had a little mini hoop in the hallway outside the apartment. I was always, drawn into basketball, and he always found time to help me out. And then when I got older, then that's when it started to, let's go before school. Let's wake up at 5, 6 a.m., get extra shots up. And he always knew what he had in me, and he always knew that his main goal was not for him to continue his coaching career, but his main goal was for me to achieve my dreams.
When you entered the portal, you chose Wes Miller, and you chose to come to the University of Cincinnati. Why?
Because of the culture. From talking to him, I could see that what he's building here is something I want to be a part of. And one of my main priorities when I was in the portal was to be a part of a winning culture and part of a locker room that values winning and is unselfish. And I think that's what I found here.
Wes Miller has a system that's open. He likes a lot of three-point shooting. He likes movement. And you have acclimated yourself into that system very well. How do you think this system showcases your gifts and abilities?
I think it's perfect for me. I mean, I love offense. I'm a great offensive player, and Wes has improved me on defense a lot. And, I love playing fast and playing free, and this is exactly what Wes wants me to do.
What were those sessions like when he's looking at your defensive efforts and saying, you're too good of a player for you to respond this way? What were those like?
Those were good. That's a weakness of my game. He knew I was going to be a serviceable player on defense, but he thought he can get way more out of me, and I really appreciated that. And I think day by day and practice by practice, I really am getting better.
Last year, you hit 3 game winners in conference play. Get deemed by Mr. Clutch, ice in his veins, all these different accolades that people are throwing at you. Where does that calmness under pressure come from?
Really, I think it's from childhood and just, watching basketball and, imagining myself in these situations and dreaming of these situations, whether I'm a little kid shooting at a mini hoop, just counting down the seconds, pretending that, you're down by 1 in the NBA Finals. I think just that imagination and knowing that that's the position I want to be in really makes me more comfortable in it when it actually happens.
I used to play that same game. I never won the game.
Well, as the UC men's golf program continues its rise, so too does the series Talk Birdie to Me, which aims to bring out the personalities of each member of that team. Returning as the host this year is Harrison Sims, and with him on this edition is junior Cole Emig. It's presented by West Banco.
What's up, Bearcats? Welcome back to another season of Talk Birdie to Me. I'm Harrison Sims, your host for the year, and today I'm with Cole Emig. He is a senior from Birmingham, Alabama, and we are at hole number 1 at Coldstream Country Club. Cole, tell us about this hole. What is it? How do you start your day here at Coldstream?
Yeah, it's a great opening hole. Usually I just hit a little 4-iron out here in the fairway and then have an easy wedge on, hopefully get a good birdie look to start the day.
Perfect. Well, we got a wedge in here. How about you hit us a shot, then we'll talk through some questions.
All right.
Oh, I'm carrying it. Let's do it. I love it. All right. So we're out here at Coldstream. We're going to ask you a few questions, some to get to know you, some to get to know our team.
Okay.
First, to get to know you, in this golf bag that I'm holding right here, what is the most unusual thing that I would find if I went through it right now?
Sunflower seeds.
Okay, now tell us about it. What's the reasoning?
So I love to choose sunflower seeds on the golf course. It almost kind of gets my mind off like what I'm doing.
Fair.
Because it takes some focus to get that sunflower seed out.
For sure.
So yeah, so I like doing that. I got a stress ball in there too. A little different, a little crazy.
That is why I asked you this question. I just knew there was going to be some, almost like thrift store kind of thing.
Right.
You could sell a lot of things in this bag.
Yeah.
Well, great. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
3 people, dead or alive. You could say round of golf. I like saying dinner. Who are you picking? And where are you going to eat?
I'm going to go Matthew McConaughey, Justin Thomas,
Okay.
Jonathan India.
Wow. Okay. You got three diverse
groups.
That's a good group of 4 guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Where are we going to dinner?
We're gonna go to Marble.
Right
Across the river in Newport.
Get you a nice steak.
Yeah.
Love it. You're in your 2nd season here at Cincinnati. Or what are your favorite things you've done? Favorite things about the university as a whole, and just Cincinnati?
I think Cincinnati's a great place. It took me a little bit to get acclimated. I feel like a Cincinnatian now.
Yeah,
I love going to Reds games. Love going to going to Cincinnati basketball games.
Yeah.
Love going to Nippert Stadium to watch a football game. There's really just a lot to do in Cincinnati. I mean, it's been a lot of fun here.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can stay for a while.
We love to have you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me. See you next time on Talk Birdie to Me.
Coming up on Bearcats All Access, I sit down with Cincinnati area native C.J. Frederick. Heading into his 7th season of college basketball, the 25-year-old Uncle Freddie talks about how his experience can help this year's basketball team.
Bearcats All Access. Sponsored by All Good Home Improvements.
CJ, basketball in some ways has just been cruel to you, or maybe not basketball as much as just the injury bug. What keeps you coming back, man?
I love the game. I love playing, and just the process of getting better each day, and being on a team and being with guys that you love and you care about. Those things don't. Next year or 5 years from now, those things are gone. So, just trying to understand and have perspective that be grateful and be appreciative of the things you have now, because one day it's going to be over.
What excites you the most about this season, specifically with the Bearcats?
I think it's just the group of guys that we brought back and the group that Coach had brought in. It really is a great group of guys and fun guys to be around, fun guys to come in every day and work hard with. I think the guys that he has just brought into the program speak to what Coach wants, and it's awesome for players to be around each other every day. So definitely the guys for sure.
Okay, 25 years old, year 7 of college basketball. Do you feel like the uncle in the locker room?
Some of the guys, they give me a lot of crap for being old, just like to mess with me. Some call me uncle, some just call me old.
So they do call you uncle?
It's not like a nickname, but some people I've heard mess with me say that.
CJ.
Yeah, but I'm used to it now. I mean, there's a lot of older guys still left in college basketball, but I think myself and some other guys are probably the last run of the 6-7 years. I think those are going to start slowing down. I laugh sometimes, but there's some times where I mess with them and I'd be like, I'm not that old. I'm only a quarter into, my life. 70's old, or when I'm 77 and you're 70, like you're right there with me. But
being that experienced guy, have you taken that upon yourself to pass things along to the younger guys?
I've been really trying to make sure that, everyone, it doesn't matter how old I am, or, you don't have to, you can talk to me and I can share my experiences and I can help along the way. So that's something I've really tried to do a good job of.
The number of injuries and setbacks that you've had to endure over the course of your college career is frankly like unfair, man. But how have you learned to approach those as time has gone on?
When I was younger, it was tough when I would be out a couple games and that would wear on me, and then I had some season-ending injuries. I would say I've had a lot of good people in my support system, my dad, my family, just to help me see a bigger picture. And I've come to understand as I've gotten older and I get injuries, sports is going to happen. And I've just been battle tested, and every time something happens, I just try to bounce back, because that's life. Life's not going to be easy, life's not going to be fair, and that's what, those people in my support system have kind of helped me realize, basketball's going to end one day, and you're going to go into life, and you're going to fail, and you're going to have a boss, or you might get, you know what I mean? Like the real world, you're going to get hit, and it's about how you respond. So that's just my mentality every time, is just respond. And, in my head, I tore my hamstring. In my head, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back better. You know what I mean? That's just the mindset you have to have. You don't try to just get back. You try to come back and be better.
Well, from standout track and field athlete to administrator, Maggie McKinley has been a mainstay here on the campus of the University of Cincinnati since back in 1996. She's currently UC's deputy AD and senior women's administrator. On the most recent podcast, Let's Reign with Dan Horde, Maggie detailed her career and her love for Cincinnati.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Let's Reign podcast, revealing conversations with UC athletes, coaches, and administrators. I'm your host, Dan Horde. My first guest this week fits two of those titles. She was an athlete at UC. Now she is an administrator. Deputy Director of Athletics, Maggie McKinley. You are the SWA at UC, the senior woman administrator, the highest ranking woman in the athletic department. What does that mean to you, and what are the responsibilities that go with that title?
Yeah, I mean, I reflect back to my time as a student athlete, and when I was a student athlete, there was usually only one female in the entire department. A lot of times they were in academics, maybe in compliance, and so when I looked at that, I was like, okay, you know, there's just one position, and now what I think about is making sure that our student athletes realize there are a lot of opportunities. It's not just one seat at the table for a female, but the reality is I'm the one who's making sure I'm at the table, I'm in the room, asking the questions, providing perspective from all sorts of views and the lenses. So I feel like there's a great amount of responsibility because of the access I gain with that title. And then also making sure that it's not just one seat. So if we need a bigger table and more chairs, that I'm helping facilitate that.
You work with and represent all athletes at UC, males and females, but do you feel an extra responsibility to make sure that the women in the athletic department have the opportunity for equal treatment, equal advancement, et cetera? Yeah,
I think so. And I think that's because I think when I have conversations with our female student athletes, they convey that to me. That's the way they see me. They see that role. So that's their assumption. And so part of that responsibility I have to take on. And then also educating them. There are a lot of people in this department, men and women, who are there that are helping facilitate opportunities for them, behind the scenes, making sure there's equity and opportunity for them. And so that's part of that thing. You know, they come in, they see the title, they're like, okay, well, that's the person we must go to for all female, you know, student athlete issues. And then I take that opportunity to say, hey, yeah, I'm one of many people in this building. And so, yeah, that is something that I know it's a little bit of, you know, I have the title, I need to take on that responsibility.
Yeah. So this past summer was an exciting one for the University of Cincinnati for former Bearcat female athletes. Annetta Chikawoke won a silver medal in Paris. Jordan Thompson won a silver medal in Paris. Vanessa Gilles competed in the Olympics as well. How proud were you to see former UC athletes reach the pinnacle of the sports that they participate in? Yeah, I think it's one of my proudest moments, that in graduation. I look at when they come in here as 18-year-olds and the promises that we've made. We said, hey, you're gonna come in here, we're going to develop you for life after college, and whether you go into pro sports, whether you go into graduate school, whether you go into your business career, you know, we're going to prepare you, and you're once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat. So the fact that Annette has continued to train here, the fact that Jordan had opportunities to go play professionally overseas because of her experience here, the fact that Vanessa is an incredible story, being able to go out and bounce around several teams before, you know, she found the right club, and Canada finally wised up and pulled her up to their national team. But seeing that hard work and what we poured into them come to fruition is awesome.
Well, still to come, we dive into what's already been a record-breaking career for one UC athlete. Bearcats All Access continues after this. Well, fifth-year swimmer Hunter Gabino here at UC is building upon the success he achieved last season, and about midway through this year, he's already broken 3 school records and found himself in the national rankings.
Hello, my name is Hunter Gabino. I'm from Howell, Michigan, and I'm a grad student on the swim and dive team. So we kind of went off the Big 12 pillars. So B being bold, I being integrity, and growth being G. And so I'm part of the integrity team, which kind of just makes sure everyone's keeping on track. Anyone that has problems on the team can come to me or the other 2 girls that are part of the integrity team. And I think it's a good way for anyone to go to anyone they feel comfortable with on the upperclassmen's team. So we definitely wanted to win some dual meets this year. Some dual meets that I think we could win, and it could go either way. That's our main goal. And then sending some people to NCAAs is definitely a big goal, not only for the team now, but for bringing in recruits in the future for the team. And I think another goal is just having a good team GPA. That's a big thing for us. We try to keep above a 3.0 every semester and try to break the previous GPA records, so that's definitely an out-of-pool goal that the whole team has. NCAAs was a great experience. I've been to some big meets, but nothing like that. I guess not until Olympic trials. But I swam 3 events. I did pretty well, not too bad. And I think the competition, just talking to some of the people in the warm up and warm down pool, was a really awesome experience just to gain some knowledge from other swimmers and how they deal with stress and stuff like that. Going to Olympic trials, I think NCAA's helped me a lot, just not to be scared, not to be nervous or anything, take it as an opportunity to show myself off a little bit and see what I can do. NCAAs, I didn't make a final, so this year I'd really like to make a A or B final. I really want a Big 12 win this year. We didn't have one last year. I think there's a great opportunity to get one this year. I think it's made me realize that I can keep up with them. Being able to do that and seeing that I'm right there with them and being at the same meet as them, it's kind of like, you know, I'm right there with them.
Well, that does it for this week's show. The UC men's basketball team will face Howard tomorrow afternoon. And as always, you can get all your UC sports coverage right here on WCPO 9. Join us again next week at 11:30 Saturday morning for Bearcats All Access. Until then, have a great week, everybody.